This is stupid, laughable, and almost so bad that it's good. Almost. Tyra here with another struggle review. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a first impressions of the brand new show on Hulu, MonsterLand. I don't know why I want to say Monster House. Trick or treat. But no, not Monster House, MonsterLand. It's an anthology series. Sort of like a Tales from the Crypt, Black Mirror type of situation. You can watch any selective episodes. It's not a consistent story. Everything is something new with new actors, with the new director. So how do I feel about episodes 1 through 4? You know what? Of course, before we get started, I'm going to give you guys a moment to go and subscribe. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about, is this a wonderful anthology throwback series, giving me all the creep factor that I need with credible acting, beautiful direction? Or was this a waste of space? Let's talk about it. So to start off, each story takes place in a different state. We have Oregon, New York, Louisiana, so on and so forth. Just from reading, because I do like to do a little reading of what I'm about to watch, it has the most vague synopsis details for this show that you'd ever want to see. I was like, is that the title? Oh no, this is the details. And you have things like, woman walks alone down the street. What will she find? Okay. The show seems to be suffering from not knowing exactly what it wants to be. Of course, it is an anthology show, but it's as if every episode wants to leave you lingering with a bit of mystery. Like, no, that's okay, but the story still needs to make sense, in my mind anyway. The story still needs to make sense. So we get into the first story, which takes place in Louisiana, and the worst mother award goes to. We open with this, someone being murdered, and we feel like we're maybe following a serial killer. Okay. Then we get into this mother character who just seems to loathe her life as well as her daughter. We immediately see that she's not very caring towards her daughter, doesn't really know what to do for her, seems really lost as a mom, struggling as a mom. Of course, we are, a little poverty stricken. We are, working some part-time waitressing job, but that still doesn't take away from you as a parent. You can still be a great parent under those circumstances. No. Mama was like, her life was stolen. Granted, the child was giving me some Damien Omen. It's all for you, Damien vibes. But this is still your kid. But we start off and she is just tired, and we're getting into her as a character. And we see, she's tired, she's overworked, and she's desperately seeking attention from a man. Okay. All right, girl. But she does this to the extent of putting herself in danger as well as her child, that he even, brings physical harm to them. She's being pushed. The daughter nearly drowns. And we see that right off the back. And the serial killer situation from before was just like a beeline story. The focus was on her. And her being, upset that, like, how are you going to be upset because I don't want to endanger myself and my child watching your omen. It's like, what happened? What fuck you, my child. Girl, she's covered in blood. We don't have time for this. I'm a babysitter, not a miracle worker. We see that this little girl clearly has a behavior problem. We don't know why, but she kind of tries to give us some insight into why. Like, I did try to get rid of her that one time. Maybe that's what's wrong. And I thought, maybe she would be carrying some guilt for that. She wasn't. But yet and still, with everything that happened before, when you let a man into your home, you did it again. And it was a stranger just coming off the street, clearly saw that, she was in some type of disposition as a waitress. Like, she's desperate. She'll probably let me come in her house for $1,000. And she does. I was like, okay, this is unsafe. Somebody get the kid. Because anybody who does that, you have no regard for your children. But not only do we let him in, we indulge him. We have sex with him. We introduce him to our daughter. And the power's out. What? But this is when we get into the X-Files. This drifter has skin, multiple person skin, in his trunk, in boxes, labeled, and he's able to change into anyone whenever he pleases. Did they have this whole dialect of, I was, working a shitty job and I was lost and I didn't have any direction and I was just, so tired, and this is giving me a new lease on life. Him now, who's a she. I'm like, okay, I get it. Someone passed this on to him. And now he's going to pass it on to her. He's gravitated towards her because he saw himself in her. No, we went full-blown X-Files, pulled skin off for no reason. Just for her to get the whole, aha, I'm going to take this whole $1,000. Because, hey, who can't start a whole new life with their kid with $1,000? And I'm going to rename myself and rename my kid. And I'm brand new. I'm a nurse. We're Jill and Isabel. Ta-da. Nope, you can't run like that. We realize our kids still have these same behavior problems that she had back in Louisiana, miles back. It's like, oh my God, I just can't take it. I'm just so hurt. I miss those teenage years when I was just floating by on a bicycle and I could just do whatever I wanted to do, go wherever I wanted to go, whoever I wanted to. We go through all of this, this new lease on life, and I can change my skin. I can be whoever I want to be, just for her new lease on life to be abandoning her kid. Now, episode 2, we meet a young man in Oregon, cold ass Oregon. And he's emo. He's sad. He has the emo hair, the bang that comes right about here in the little coif, the emo hair. The woe is me hair. He has this emo hair, and we see that he's, just the town loner, the town weirdo per se. Though he might not even be weird. He might just be a loner who likes to wear black and listen to emo music and be a gamer. But he's taking care of his mom. We're struggling to take care of our mom. We can barely, we can't, not even barely, we can't even afford, the medication she needs. Clearly mom has had a stroke, but he has mom hidden away in a back room with jingle bells like she has the fucking plague. I was like, okay, because when we started, he's like peeking in, Mom, it's me. I'm like, is she a monstrous thing? Do you have to throw food at her to feed her? No. She's just a mother who happened to have had a stroke, and she's in no condition to take care of her son, her household, or herself. A burden to him in his, his eyes. Like, okay, we're struggling, but we're a gamer, and we see him, just on that game so hard that it's like his life. Like, hey, you want to play a game? Hey, you want to play a game? They're like, no, we have a life outside of this game. This is his life. But he still has, enough love and sense to take care of his mom. We're working the job. Kind of. That's fast food. I was like, who made that? You see how he stacked it on the plate? I was like, is there even meat there? But the gamers leave and he sees this shadow. Now, once we get into seeing the shadow, we aren't afraid. We aren't, alarmed at all. It's just like, oh, can you do what I do? It's a shadow. Clearly a shadow that has a mind of his own. But we get into these side characters that are available to him through the internet on this like chatting site. It's like, shadowchasers.com type of situation. And they just appear as soon as he clicks on the site, they appear. And we realize that, they're not actually there. These are people that are in his imagination. Now, when the show began and, the kids were, heckling him when he couldn't afford his mom's medication, someone called him, you fucking Unabomber. I was like, okay. I was thinking, which I thought would have been like really insightful, something really creative, something different. They were going to take a different approach to, those tragic kids who feel like outsiders and feel like alone, loners, outsiders, outcast, town weirdos, those kids who are so traumatized that they feel like their only way out is to go back to school and, shoot up, kids and innocent bystanders and those tragic news stories that we see. This was not that. This was a grand opportunity to be that. I was waiting for that. That with a little mixture of, remember Murder House when he, was running away and he had, committed that crime at the school. But this was not that. Not only were the hecklers in his head, from the shadow watchers, chasers, they were like kind of in his head affirmations of different things that he wanted to be or he wanted to say or wanted to have. Like the emo girlfriend who could relate to him, who also, saw the shadow. The tough guy who says whatever he wants to say. He's cursing. He's, potty mouthing. Hey, dude, we're going to do this or not. And then more of the intellectual. Hey, we got your back. It was different perspectives of who he wanted to be and things he wanted that he didn't have. We couldn't, hold on to our job because we were taking care of our mom. We can't afford anything. I don't have any money. Dad left long ago. Not only did our dad leave, but the shadow chasers, hey, we saw him on the site. This is what he's doing. He's doing real estate. He's well off while you're here stuck, taking care of your sickly mom, hating your life. And I was like, okay, maybe he's going to go ape shit and do something to the family, to the dad that he feels like, has stricken him and left him to these conditions. No. Even when we got down to, the loss of internet and, hey, you guys, I just really needed to reach you. I came all the way to school that I don't go to anymore. And, even the principal is alarmed. Hey, you left some things. Nope, I just need you to get out of here because I don't know what's in your bag. Perfect opportunity for him to give us insight to the mentality of a school shooter. No. We completely, throw that out the window. And he's actually chasing a shadow. I was so ready when, the people in his mind, hey, but you got to do this. This is for us. This is for, the people who don't get an opportunity to shine. This is, you have to pay them back. Who are we paying back? The shadow? I thought the shadow was a placeholder for all the people he felt like who wronged him. The friends, the dad, the principal. I was waiting for the ape shit to happen. And go, oh my God, this is what this was the whole time. No! We makeshift a whole gun, that whole scene where they were, getting him ready for battle. I thought in his mind he was getting ready to kill the shadow just for us to see him get ready to actually kill something or someone else. Nope, we were actually tackling a shadow, which I'm sure was a metaphor for something bigger, but who cares? It didn't make sense. And just when I thought it was going to make sense, and he finally did get light on the shadow, It went off. Cut. Ooh, the allure, the mystery. No, that didn't make any sense. What is going on? Is the shadow a representation for his mom? What's happening? So after we cut from that, after giving us no real insight as to why, I really hate when shows try really hard to be, and I know that this is based on a book, but you know, it's your preference to do what you want to with an adaptation. I really hate when shows go so far just to be so different and so deep that things aren't making sense just for we did something different sake. And it's always amazing to do something different, but it has to make sense. We get into episode 3, which also takes place in Louisiana, but now we're in New Orleans. Now, this story in particular made sense. I was actually a little intrigued with this story once I realized what was going on. So far, the only one. But we get into this married couple, black woman, white man. And right away, we get a sense of an unsettling marriage. They're at a parade in New Orleans, but you can see that something is off. But we do find out that he is a stepdad to her son. And, you know, we get talk from, you know, bystanders of, you know, old friends, I'm guessing. Hey, this is different. You're different for him. He just popped up married. Okay. But, you know, he walks off with the son, and the son comes back, you know, telling her the horror story of, you know, I was attacked, you know, by this monster with, you know, dark eyes, and he has a sprained wrist. And immediately we already see what's coming because we see the dad. Hey, little guy, you know, when the aggressor, the R word, the molesters, the manipulators try to cut off what a child or what a victim is saying before they can say it. Yeah, but yeah, oh yeah, your wrist is sprained. Let me wrap that for you, buddy. You're gonna be okay. It was a little predictable, but better than what I saw at first. But bam, we leave the parade, bam, 14 years later. I was like, all right, that's a big time jump. But we see that, you know, they're still very much married. She's even planned a surprise party. He's back home and the party's going well. He's about to win this prestigious award because he's a doctor. And once again, we get another story of, well, yeah, can you tell them about your life and where you came from? And guess who we're telling this story to? A fellow party goer who just happens to be the woman from episode 1 who wanted to go off and have this brand new life and change her name. And we're discussing, her being a waitress, and you could probably relate to her from where she's coming from. I thought her name was Jennifer, but I heard someone call her Tony. I don't know. Let's bring her over. Why? Is everything at the end of the anthology series on the last episode, is everything going to tie together, or is she just there just to be there? But, we have this Karen-ass lady. Like, share your story. Let her know where you come from. You can relate. You came up. And we see, maybe the purpose that her husband served. But we see this facade, this grand party going on, and he's well loved. And we get a random guy on stage. He's up there for his sister, Julia White. Okay. And, he's randomly attacked, and it's just, kind of a throwaway. Like, honey, I don't know what's going on. Like, But we get more into their marriage, and we understand that their marriage is more of a partnership than a marriage. More of an arrangement than a real marriage from love. Okay. And before we could even blink, we're pulled into this story of, because we got, glimpses of it in the beginning, and then it was snatched away. With, oh, your wrist is sprained. Let me wrap that for you. I I don't know who Julia White was. I had this incident with, a fellow doctor. She was disbarred and let go. I was still there. I cheated on you. And we see, already what she's willing to accept as a wife. You should have told me. Not, oh my God, I'm so upset. How could you? You could have at least told me. God, it was 14 years ago. Why are you keeping a secret? This works, so let's work it. Don't mess it up with secrets. She's very much settled into her life and what she has and what he's provided for her as a doctor. Because we know from the story that she told the Karen, her life before him wasn't the best life. She was, a struggling single mother. But as soon as that happened, we're approached with the story again. Because, we're about to go and accept this grand award. No, we're not. We have more women coming forward of this is what happened. Not only women, we have, everything from 14-year-olds to 11-year-olds. Not like this man is an abuser and a manipulator. And we're seeing it firsthand for ourselves. We're hearing it out of someone's mouth. And he damn near admits to it. I'm sorry, babe. I need help. Are you going to be here for me? I'm sick. Which equates to, yeah, I did that shit. And she stays there. She's still there. She's still standing in it. We can get through this. How is this going to affect a man of his stature? He's about to get an award. He can still be a doctor, right? He can still provide for me, right? Because I ain't trying to go to work. But the entire time from start to finish, from him being a child all the way up into the party, you see that her son is clearly uncomfortable. He doesn't even want the dad to hug him. It's like, how you doing in school? Huh? Got any friends? Huh? Got any girlfriends? Yeah, several. You already see that her son has a problem and something has happened to him. But in the meantime, we've been reveling in our surroundings and in our house and what Joe has been able to provide. Now, right after, are you going to be there? Are you going to help me? And all these things that have happened, all these horrific things that have come to light that her husband has done to women and children, we're still there. I was like, if she lays down and takes a nap one more time, kind of checking on her son. Hey, can you call? Haven't left that house though. And while we haven't left the house, since the show began, since the parade, we've seen this menacing kind of jazz man figure who has these dark eyes. And it's just there. Now, I saw him there, which was very, creative, as a representation of what she was trying to block out. Like, you saw the noise. You heard the blast of those trumpets. You saw what your husband, you saw those warning signs, and you ignored that jazz. You ignored those loud trumpets in favor of what he could provide for you and your son. But, we still alone, and hey, can you call? Can you come? Are you still has not left this house one time to go and see about her own son. We get a rock thrown through the window after we've already seen this jazz man. And she closes the window. Nope, not trying to hear it. I see you there. I remember you back from the parade. Close the window. Nope. At this point, a rock is thrown through the window. Like, don't you see what your husband is? Don't you see what's going on? No one's lying on him. This is real. You could go to jail for trespassing. Wake up. Wake up, girl. And at this point, it turns into kind of this demon and attacks her. Does she call the police? Because she's knocked him out at this point. Is she, seeking refuge? No. Get in this house and get in this closet. You fucking you messing up my stuff. I'm trying to live. I'm trying to be kept. I'm a wife of a doctor. Hides this body that immediately escapes as soon as she, is trying to call her son. I've done something bad. Can you come to me? I know that this is going on. And I know that we've, had talks about that monster that attacked you that time. And we went to therapy about that monster that attacked you that time. But that's for God. And can you come to me? Because I did a bad thing. Girl. But it gets out and, attacks her and bites her. And she's, still stabbing. Still fighting this alarm that's going off for her to pay attention to her son. We go and we hide in the basement. We see all these toys. Because that manipulators and abusers love to give kids toys and little trinkets to forget. To like, oh, here you go. Here's something. Forget about that thing that we did. Here's a new toy car. We see a plethora of these things. And she's hiding. She's scared. Thinking that demon is coming down to get her. But it's her son. It's her son. And they sit down and they're having, this grand conversation. And she's, ready to validate what happened. I know I didn't believe you, but I'm sorry. And let's talk because it's here now. It's attacking me. It's in the house. I'm afraid. It bit me here. It broke these windows. What are you talking about? If you really want to talk, let's talk about what really happened. And what's going on with these women. Because what he did to them, he did to me when I was a child. Multiple times. Because he goes, he was worried about him coming in his room. He said, what? I don't recall. I don't remember. What do you mean? I told you, Mom. I told you. And we get the sense of, he never said, hey, this, monster with dark eyes attacked me. Probably went to her and whispered, Joe attacked me. We just moved in here with him. And he tried, attack me. I sprained my wrist trying to get away. Because he was trying to, touch me, do something to me inappropriately. I don't recall. I don't remember that. We see such a blatant just for her son. Just to keep and hold on to this title she has and these materialistic things. Well, what about all the things he provided for us? What about how could you say that? Look what school you get to go to. Look at all these liberties we're provided. He loves us. No, Mom. No, Mom. And you get such a sense of how things like this happen in families and, multiple situations in real life. And there's such a sense of denial, whether it's for materialistic things or, just comfort because you just don't want to talk about it. You rather, push it away or, pretend it's something else and talk about it. And the more she pushes it away, the more she's bringing on that jazz and that noise that she's trying so hard to silence because it never happened. It never happened. I don't know what you're talking about. The son gets so frustrated that, he leaves. Like, we'll give you one more chance, Mom. Look at me. Talk to me. I'm here. Let's deal with this. I'm struggling. I don't know what you're talking about. People mad do this in real life. You rather sweep it under the rug than deal with it. And I love the metaphor of those loud trumpets and that parade and that jazz being that for her. The deeper she's sunk into that now. Once her child walked out the door, that was the last straw as far as mentally where she could be in her denial. And we hear those trumpets blast and break, everything. And I'm like, and she's like clawing. I'm like, is she going to call her son? Is she going to call the police? Is she going to take some accountability, some ownership for what's happening to her son, herself, her family? No, we get that same ice pick that she's used to stab this demon. That was used, to place ice on her husband's wound. I caught that. And literally gouges ears. Stabs both eardrums. Like, I just don't want to hear it. I'm not leaving this house. I'm not leaving my comfort, but I don't want to hear what's going on. I don't want to hear this. I just want to be in my denial. I don't want to hear the alarm. I want to believe my husband. I want to salvage this. Aha. Still doesn't silence those voices, that noise that she knows is true, that she knows happens to her son. Then she just walks out and gives up. Like, nope, I surrender to this. I'd rather surrender to this than go and handle my business as a mom and take care of my son. Wow. Very insightful story. I did enjoy it for what it was. Now let's get into episode 4. What I like to call episode Trump. We get into the story about this practically ruthless CEO who's responsible for this oil spill being dumped into the Gulf Coast, kind of creating a toxic waste Aaron Brockovich situation for a lot of people. And this episode was so heavy-handed with what they were trying to portray as a play on, you know, politics, CEO, men in power, capitalism. It was too much. I understood what they were going for, but it was like so on the nose. I was so distracted and it got kind of funny. And I don't think they were going to funny. But we get into him, this, you know, CEO trying to ravage his image. And it's a play on, you know, things we see in the media every day. Ike, Trump, Harvey Weinstein. You know, it's a play on those things. And while he's trying to salvage, you know, his image and what's left of it, we get, you know, mock interviews and a whole, you know, team of supporters, as we see in real life, doing their best to salvage what's left of this, you know, millionaire money man. But in the midst of him trying to, you know, salvage this and, you know, people, you know, spitting out things in one ear, hey, how about we do this? How about we meet with this? How about we get optics with this person? He starts to change and literally become possessed by what I'm thinking was, you know, a demon. And, you know, we're going to church and, you know, we're eating the body of Christ and we're talking to an altar boy. All this symbolism that is supposed to be happening that I just could not get into because the story was just too jarring. I was like, they're trying so hard and this is not working for me. But we even get, you know, a dream sequence of him, you know, kind of becoming the second coming in this Antichrist. And we get, you know, this imagery of Jesus as him physically eating the body of Christ, and this scene from the Last Supper, and, you know, all these people here, you know, tormenting him, like, stone him. And it's like, you know, I'm forever, you know, changed. I know what I am now. I know what my purpose is. Like, he's succumbing and being taken over. And we even see like a fake Trump heckler around the bed. But, you know, we get, you know, these grand speeches and these messages, like a reporter coming, hey, if you want to, you know, save something, you could tell us what you know, like trying to give hints to the audience and people who may be on the other side of these type of situations. If you only said something, you could save everybody. You could salvage situations like this. We wouldn't have these big problems with capitalism and CEOs and oil spills if somebody in his camp would just say something. We have those subliminal messages of that. We have, you know, him going to, you know, his birthday party and, you know, the waiter standing up. This is what's going to happen. You guys always get away and blah, 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 blah. Bad Trump. Bad CEO. Like, okay. It was so on the nose. Not that anything that, you know, that was said was wrong, but it was like, you guys couldn't pick a better way to... Okay. But after that, because, you know, we've had this hanger on, this man, you know, who's stuck by him. I can't leave him. I'm all he has. Which was trying to allude to, you know, this is what those type of people do in those camps. And him going from kind of a heartless CEO to being full on possessed and, you know, pulling feathers out and peeing on himself and, you know, voicing these biblical verses in this demonic voice. What? Whoever directed episode 3 should have stayed on. But we get, you know, to this grand level of, you know, trying to identify with him and recognize why he is the way he is, even though he may be, you know, ruthless and responsible for an oil spill and dabbles in, you know, drugs and has corrupt politics and is a heavy drinker who has health problems. But we're still, you know, made to identify with him and how he came to Providence lying about, you know, him graduating from Harvard. Okay. I tried. We get to the big reveal of the penthouse literally smoking. It's boiling because it's supposed to be a representation, you know, from damnation and hell. And you didn't see the signs that I provided for you? Are you not entertained? Oh, I was trying so hard. And we get, you know, we try to bring this book that he was given to by someone who was jumping ship because it was a sinking ship. And we call on this woman, and she's supposed to be some type of spirit guy because now he's possessed. And even though we see, you know, the subliminals of this man is this many things, and he's all the way to the totem pole of being a possessed demonic figure with looming eyes, spitting biblical verses, but I'm still going to, you know, stand by his side because that's what this story is supposed to represent. But she's supposed to free him. We get into a whole, the body of Christ compels you situation. And she's trying to relinquish something. It's like, well, hey, I know his real name. How about we say that? Because we could save him because he's worth saving because he was, you know, had a disposition as a kid. We're supposed to be able to relate to this character. Ugh. All of that for him to, you know, because I was waiting when he, you know, set him free. He can be free now. He's not possessed. Girl, get out of my face. Cuts himself open. I'm expecting this hell's angel demonic thing to pop out with damn near horns because we were cliche all the way up until this point. Why change now? No. We get a oil-dipped seagull, vulture, crowbird, caw-caw, that pops out and flies away. Like, no, it's getting away from me. It's too late for me to save those, you know, people who were affected by that oil spill in the Gulf Coast. It's too late for me. Ugh. Eyes closed. I get what you guys were going for, but a little too Rudolph the Red-Nosed, a little too on the nose. I see what the series wants to be and could have been, but from episode 1 to 4, I'm not liking it, and it's not anything that I would go back to watch or recommend. I did like 3. Episode 4 was a bit heavy. Episode 2 was not at all what I thought it was. And episode 1 wanted to be X-Files so bad, and you weren't. But that's how I feel about the show so far. Please drop a comment below if I'm missing something and you guys saw something in the grand scheme of things that was so political and so significant and subliminal that I missed. Like, no, girl, the show wasn't that. This is what they were trying to say. If you knew better, you would have saw it. Okay. But you guys, let me know how you felt and drop those comments below. I hope you guys like this video. If you do like this video and do subscribe, I can do, you know, my last impressions, which I'm going to do anyway, but subscribe anyway. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I see you guys for my next video. Bye.